Rubber's always handy. You need to have your rubber. So first we were going to have the middle line, which will be where the nose will go. It's a very light line. It hasn't got to be heavy. You can hardly see it, but it's here. It's just a very faint line. Let's just make it a little bit clearer for you so you can see it. And then we're going to do an eye up here. Don't be too far away. We want it a bit of a distance. And then once we've got the line across, we can then do a line down the middle, which should be the center of the face. So yeah, first have these lines. And if you do a mark here and here, matching either side, when you're using this to do the first line across, which will be here. It looks a bit bigger than it should be. It's a little bit bigger than it should be. That's where it should be. And the same distance here, which is about there and there. And that distance comes down to here. And that's where the nose is. Okay. The eyes are here. There's always a bit of a point where the eyes start off. And it comes from here. A slight curvy bit. And then another slight curvy bit. It doesn't have to be straight. It doesn't have to be. These have to match with it because this is just a guideline. Saying that. I won't be a good teacher if I didn't do it right. So we need to. There we go. So they are near enough the same. And you can take the colour out of this nose bit. Because you're going to do where the nostrils come. And it comes out and down. Out and down. That's the basics. Out and down. And then a curve where the nostrils go. And that's the basic of the nose. And some eyes are not showing the bottoms of the eyes. So we're going to do it this way for a change. I know we don't teach it this way. But there's a top line and the eyelashes come from that top line. And then you have the outer layer, which is that eyelash, the eyelid, and then the eyebrows. Alright, so let's do that again. We do another circle here, coming over. We do the eyelashes here. Stops there. It can come to the end. Unless they have mascara when it comes to the end. It also comes down the bottom. But then we're going to do the other eyelid. It comes to the eyes, we all have these. And then the eyebrows. So that's the basics of the face. Then you put in the eyeball. So that's the basics of the eyeball. Now the width of the nose is the same distance as it was for the eyes. So you come down to the same distance. And that's where the line of the mouth is. You've got to put the line in straight away and do it afterwards. That's the line. But there's always a point here with the mouth and the nose gap. And between that gap is where the lips come down. It can be as longer than the actual eyelid, but as long as it's within that gap, starts within that gap, it all lines in. And that's the mouth. And it's the same distance from there to the chin. And it comes along. So the chin is like the width of the mouth. And then it rises upwards to the cheekbones. Okay. And it comes out further here. It can come out further actually. But the jawline is here. But the ears are further out. So the ears start here. And they start here. They start with the eyes. They come up as high as the ears. And they come down and up. So the rubber comes out again. Never be afraid to use the rubber. This one's got a bit of a black bit, and you can take with the putty rubber, you can take that black bit off. And then you've got a nice clean bit. It's good to show you that because the putty rubber is a really good buy. And then you just do that. And that is further back. It's just a guideline of where the ear starts. With the ear, it's always further back. Because it's at an angle. And it's the same distance that way then as the ear. As the eye, I mean, sorry. This one's a bit darker there. That's always a little bit there. And this is the earlobe. And it comes down here. I've gone off the page a bit. I also go off the page, which is a bit of a nuisance. I always seem to do that. This is about placing the eye in the right place. I want you to get how this face is actually made. It's important. So it's all symmetrical. So it's all symmetrical. It's the same distance with this nose this side. It starts here. In line with this one. And it comes up. It starts here and comes up and over. And then bring it out here because that is not going to be there. Actually, the nose is a bit further off. It's still a bit too big. But I want to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. So it comes off. No, that's where the ear is. It comes down. It comes out and around and down. So it's a bit darker here. It's always a bit like that. So that's the ears done. There's always shading. It's always lighter on the pencil. So you're only holding it at the end. You're making like a swaying motion. It's lighter this side because this is the non-shaded side. It's not so shaded this side. If you want to put a bit more pressure on the pencil, just put your finger on top of it. But it's about doing a swinging motion. Just to get a bit of colour onto the page. This is how I do my shading. Then I change the position of the pencil. It makes it slightly darker, but it's a gradual increase of shading. It's always a bit darker under the eyes. So you can keep going like this until it's a bit darker where you want it to be, because this is where the eyelid fun begins, because you put, I'm not going to see me, my pencil out. There's a slight little white line here beneath the eye, where the eyelashes come out. They're not as long on the lower lid as they are on the top. But there's always a line underneath of the lower eyelid. It is narrow, because you can't put the eyelashes into the eye, because it will be uncomfortable. Nobody has that. So now it's about using the shading again. So this is the forehead. We'll put a bit more shading on this bit now, because this is the shaded end. I'm going to go a bit lighter here, but it's always a bit darker near the eyes. Don't be scared to put pressure on that pencil. This is the light side, still the light side. I'm going to do the line now coming down onto the face. I'll bring it down to the face. Sometimes I have the extra bit on the neck here. Like myself, I have a double chin. So it's like a wider face here that comes down a bit more padded, like me. And then the neck's coming down. Somebody wanted to know about doing the double chins on the class. So the guideline is all there of how to draw a double chin. There's always a bit more shading underneath the nose. But then from here coming down, there's always a bit of a crease where the mouth goes. There's always a bit more of a shading with the nose, because it's a bit lighter with the nose there is. But there's always a bit of shading coming down from the eye. You put a bit more pressure on that pencil just to make it a bit more shaded. And this is where the other shading bit is. This is light shading here. And then we're going to do bushy eyebrows on this gentleman. Pause it a minute, sorry. Now we've sorted out the battery on the other camera. Right. Now there's always a bit more shading here, underneath the nose. You can even think, if you wanted to do lemon for a tash, if you wanted to do. With a tash, it comes down to the lip. It may come a little bit further out. There's always a little bit more hair here, but not quite so much significant. And then it's on this side. A pencil is good for doing the tash. Just small little lines. And bringing it outwards. There's more of a crease here where it's coming down from the nose. And then it's more darker here in its shading. more darker up here and around under the nose. So eventually they're both matching. There's a bit more darker here. Okay. I'm going to do the darker eyeball. And the eyeball, iris, it's like a circular motion. It's the eyeball where the eyes come from. But this is the eyelid. You all have an eyelid. It comes right down and goes around. It's underneath here where the wrinkles are. You can have them as deep or as shallow as you want them. There's always small lines where it's coming out. A little bit more shading here. The eye is not always white as well, so you can colour the eye in a bit. And we can do the so with a man, it's more bushy here than it is on a lady. They have bushy eyebrows, men do. It's the same for this side. But with a double chin, there's always shading coming down. It's slight shading. Giving this man a double chin. I have to draw myself the other double chin for a lady on another occasion. There's shading here. There's another bit of shading here, but it's a bit more wider. And this is where the chin is. It comes up so high, but then it continues. Okay, so I'm making it continue. And just smudge it with your finger. You keep his top lip a bit more darker lip, and the bottom lip will be lighter. Because the top lip's always lighter than the bottom. Maybe the other way around. The top lip's always darker than the bottom lip. It's rarely that it's changeable, it's the other way around. But it does happen on occasion, but you want to be drawing spirit, you want it to look official and real. You can't really see the lip really with a mouse, with a tash, but I'll make it so you know where it is, so you can understand why I'm doing it. So this one's the lighter bottom lip. Now mouths are different, they're not all the same. I'm doing a normal basic mouth. It can be like that, or it can be a bit more pouty. Even men have more poutable lips. And this is always darker underneath here, so put more pressure on the pencil. And do the shading underneath the mouth. We are giving him a double chin. Now we've got to make it blend with this chin. Blend it, blend it. Pencil blends very nicely. Get rid of a black finger maybe, but it's worth it. For a good picture. You can blend the pencil on the tash. No, even the middle of the forehead has a bit of a shading. It's not as extensive as the right side will be. It's going to be more shaded. But each nose has a shading, especially at the sides. And it comes out towards the nostril. And even at this side of the eye, it comes out. And you make this side of the nostril much more standing out. Because it's darker, because it's on the shaded side. So you make it look darker. I'll sort this eye out now. Give it a bit of shape. And the eyeball always has this darker part on the side of it. And there's a box though too with the light comes in. So you can make it a bit darker around the outside here. But always leave a little bit of light. You can leave a bit of white on the eye. It's good. I haven't actually done that on this really. I should have done a bit more of a white on the eye. But some eyelids are more darker. The bottom lid is always lighter. You can colour this in a bit now. You can't see a man's eye, top eyelash, but you can see this one. And it's not all the same shading, it's all different shading. So this is where the shading bit comes in for this side. It's about increasing the pencil level. Making it slightly darker here than the other side. You can see the difference already. And as it comes up from the side of the mouth, you can see the siding, the changing of the pencil. And this has got to be a bit darker too. And even the ear is darker. You could put in the light parts in a minute because you have to have the sunlight coming in. Each eye has the sun. Each face has a sunny part. I'll make this a bit more shaded now. One side though darker than the other. I'm just taking it off to the edge. Just bringing it all in together. So it's all being shaded. I'm not left white. So this is the not so dark bit. And then we have the darker part coming off here. You have a darker pencil. Push it down a bit darker. Bringing it up this side. He's got a t-shirt on. So we're just doing a light circle going around with like a t-shirt. And then it is slightly darker than getting light, just so she doesn't go right the way across. And you just get it a blending with your fingers. That's the main part of the chin. But this is the other part. This is the part that we all say when you've got a double chin. There's no way of losing it. It's there. You can't hide it. But it's that little bit of that. It's going to be a bit darker because it's shading underneath. And it's coming under. Just blend it in a bit. Because it's a bit not blending in. Take off that darkness. Bring it back to under the mouth. There we go. So it's all blended together. All blending in. So that is how to do a double chin. I hope that will help. There's also a bit of a cheekbone bit here that we have to put in. Just a little bit darker, and then that's finished. There we go. Thank you so much for working with me and for having me. Until next time we meet, thank you. Bye from Deborah King, spirit artist and medium. Bye-bye.